Okay, this is Satch from Mass.
Are you kidding me? We don't have a Bitcoin question yet, or you're just screwing with people?
No, this is the Bitcoin question.
Okay.
Loaded more BTC yesterday at the bottom of the risk range. With dollar down, Bitcoin volatility down, and SPX up. Should I be buying more or sitting tight? These large moves are erratic and tend to break the published risk range.
Well, but there's no such thing as breaking the range.
Would love 2 updates per day on BTC.
Okay, let's go. Well, if you want updates daily on BTC, you got to pay for the product at $10 a month. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, what is the alternative? Letting a bunch of hodlers yell at you on Twitter? I mean, so again, there's no such thing as breaking the low end of the range. That's your baggage, right? You think that it's like old wall support and resistance. It is a dynamic. Think about a fractal risk range. So when you think about it fractally, if you don't know how to think about that, read the part of Mandelbrot's book on rescaled range, if you're trying to get ways to try to calculate it yourself. So it's dynamic. It's happening right there, just right there. That's what's happening to the water right there. You know, it's got turbulence, it's got Brownian motion, it's got, all of a sudden, it's got some wind behind it, it's changed. It's constantly changing, all right? Get comfortable with that. It's also called getting comfortable being uncomfortable. Have you ever read The Green Mile? So it's one of these great books about going down Grand Canyon in a raft. You know, you don't, as a professional rafter, you don't dare tell that water what to do. You read and react to what the water is doing, right? That's what you want to do. You're feeling better already, I know you are. All right, so now, what do we do? If you bought some at the low end of the range yesterday, how much did you buy? That's an important question. Did you buy like both hands? You know, I thought hodlers have like tremendous hands. Like, what did you do? Did you buy 25, 50 basis points at a time? That's what I did, actually. I bought 50 basis points of MSTR. So today, I might buy a full % of MSTR. Because again, it's not just buying once. It's buying incrementally and reading and reacting and saying, okay, has the trend changed? The trend for Bitcoin, for those of you that don't know, because again, you probably didn't ask me, or you didn't pay for the level. I mean, Bitcoin would have to break 28,639 to break trend. Does that look anywhere remotely close to possible today? No. So on the way towards that level, it's probable that the risk range, if the price is dropping, that it mean reverts towards that level. That's just probability, all right? So I'm committed to that. I'm okay with that. That's why I buy things incrementally, okay? So the risk range today, what's most interesting to me today on Bitcoin is at the top end of the range. It's probably the third most important number. It's the most important number for anybody who's on tilt. But I mean, if you look at the Bitcoin risk range today, the top end of the range is 41,132. That's when I modeled it this morning. Would you be happy with that? Why wouldn't you be buying more aggressively if that's probable? You know, we're getting no questions about where the top end of the range was, like I said, where you should have sold some, which was inside of that prior. And oh wow, look at now the top end of the range is even higher. Well, that's really bullish, actually. You know, What's bearish in something is when it starts to signal lower highs from its all-time closing highs. In the case of Bitcoin, it doesn't close, so it's a little different. But if we just fire off a couple more things on Bitcoin, so let's just show the Bitcoin risk range. Just show it. I mean, freaking nailed it. Now show the visual of it. The visual of it. Go to the right inside of that data. The next one. Scroll down. Can you guys scroll down through the product? Just so that people see the visuals, the chart, the Bitcoin price. See it? So today, if you're not buying some at 31,772, what are you doing? You're just questioning the process, which is fine, but last I checked, I don't ask questions, I just do, right? I execute on the process and don't focus so much on why, right? I don't give a shit why Bitcoin's down today. I didn't care why it was up at where I sold some at the top end of the range. And there's a whole note out on the MSTR that triggered people on that, why I sold some MSTR at this level. Cocky boy there, little maestro, was tweeting at me saying, take your quads and shove it on that day. Remember that? Oh, he's brilliant, right? He's brilliant. He knows the secret to the universe, X-calculus. X-calculus. This guy must be really smart. It doesn't look too smart today. I mean, so at the end of the day, let's scroll down to the volatility now. What's really interesting now, and it's most likely contributing to why Bitcoin's seeing fall through on the downside, is the implied vol premium has come down. What you want is a big fat one. So that used to be big and fat, and that was really one of the reasons why we were going north of 40,000. But that's no longer. So we'll see if that changes intraday. So again, these are snapshots in time. on that data itself. These are the other thing to pay attention to, of course, is the volume. So look at what happened in the volume yesterday. If you guys can scroll to that part, what happened to the volume? You gotta get past those correlations, get into, actually the volume's a little higher. Go back up to the top. So much data in there, man. Imagine you gotta pay attention to all that. I pay attention to all this for everything that ticks from cattle to corn to Bitcoin. Price, volume, volatility data, okay? That's what we're paying attention to. So day over day, you have volumes up, but it was down yesterday on the original, or down versus the 1 month average, 13%. And versus the 3 month average, it's up 8%. So it's like, okay, well, what do I do with that? There's not like a real capitulation. Like you don't see HODLers capitulating yet. Or volume would like explode on this down move, and you would end up seeing a implied volatility premium start to blow out again. Now maybe we get a little bit more of that, because guess what? 99% of people, 99.999% of people that own Bitcoin aren't watching me talk about this right now. They have no effing idea on anything that I just said. Zero. Like zero. Think about that. They just have a belief system, right? So know where your risk range is, know how you calculate it, know that the market obviously got too long. Look at the net positioning of institutional investors. You can scroll down to that. You were about to get to that part. There's so much information here, and this is literally, I look at this for everything that I trade, right? You're just seeing all my screens on one thing, okay? So total open interest, non-commercial net long, asset manager net long. This is what it is. The positioning. I wouldn't say that it's leveraged funds net long was obviously a problem, but it was a problem at a higher level too. So I wouldn't say that that's the reason. There's no the reason. There are multiple factors in why market prices go up and when they go down. I think the number one reason why Bitcoin went down is that it went up.
Although, there are a lot of narratives as to why it's going down. Janet Yellen, there's this article about Tether, but the reality is, I think why the Bitcoin tracker is valuable is it leaves all the narratives to the side, right, and then gives you a quantitative look at the asset, and that's I think what a lot of these people miss, that there are financial characteristics to this asset class that exist outside of any narrative. Right?
That's a very good point. Yeah. Now here's a better way even to summarize that. I think Bitcoin went down because. Finish the sentence after it goes down. Why don't you start with Bitcoin is probably going to start to go down, so I should sell some. Because by the time it's down, there's going to be a litany of reasons on why an 18 to 20% drawdown happened. And you don't have to know why. Who cares? Like, do you really care? I get no questions on why corn was correcting to the low end of the risk range, but there's a belief system that's affected by that. They need to know, they need to reconcile. After the fact, that's not proactively risk managing when you're selling at the top end of the range, buying at the bottom, like what's going to be the reason why it goes back up? I don't care. It doesn't matter. Like I don't care why. Because Jonesy Bud said it should go up. That's a reasonable answer. Well, it doesn't matter at all. Thanks guys for scrolling through all that. Those guys were. So I think the greater lesson too, Jonesy, there is that when you look at anything in markets, that should be, again, the discipline of your process, the rigor of your process. Again, that should be base pack. This game, think about that. You have to go through all that before, I have to go through all that. You can do whatever you want to do before I make a decision on everything.